Hello and good evening. It's Sunday, it's 7 p.m. and welcome to the final edition of Iris Live, coming to you from the University of South Wales Atrium here in Cardiff. Today is day 6 of the 2020 Iris Prize LGBT+ Film Festival, which this year is online. We've almost reached the end of the free festival, but you have until the end of October to enjoy all of our films on our catch-up service. On tonight's show, our studio guest is Dr. Emily Garside, who will be sharing her thoughts about this year's winning films. We've got a very special film review with Martin and Francis, filmed before the award show. And Holly will take one last look at what you've been saying about Iris and the films on social media. We have another session with Jolene and friends, and we'll be saying goodnight, as we always do, with the Iris blogger. But first, here's our special behind-the-scenes report from yesterday's Iris Awards.
For the Iris Prize and to be giving out awards today. I was here in 2018, saw some great films, and just want to show friendship and love and encouragement.
I've been associated with Iris from the very beginning because Berwyn and Grant asked me to be a judge. I think my biggest thrill was when our noble patron, Michael Bishop, announced that he was increasing his financial support. I was sitting next to Berwyn, we nearly fell in our desserts. And then he did it again a couple of years later. As an LGBTQI women's magazine, we're here. We're showing support. Iris is doing lots of stuff for LGBTQI women, and we're delighted to partner.
I love Diva magazine. I read it, and I've even been featured in it. You know, so a magazine that's primarily for the LGBTQ community, women, lesbians. I think they do a great job.
One of my tips for attending Iris next year is make sure you have small lunches so you can fit in as many films throughout the days as you can.
Really want to come back next year because this is my first trip, but yeah, delighted.
The first thing I'm going to do when lockdown is completely over is have a huge barbecue with all my friends.
Go to a performance of Mamma Mia.
Take a holiday.
Hopefully in the sun. Hopefully sooner than that.
I've only seen it 24 times. I am a predictable, cliched homosexual.
Love that jacket. Now, if you missed the awards, full details of the winners are on our website at irisprize.org. And you can watch the full show on Facebook and YouTube. Just search Iris Prize. Now, our guest tonight is an academic, critic and journalist who writes regularly for The Queer Review, Wales Arts Review and many other titles. I'm delighted to welcome to the studio Dr. Emily Garside. Emily, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great to have you here. So we're going to talk about the films, and first of all, we're going to focus on the best British films, I believe. Now, what's your general view of the films this year? You know, we've had a lot of great films come in. What would you say is the sort of the consensus? Has it been good quality? What have you enjoyed the most?
As ever, there's like a great mix of films in the batch, and it's really lovely to see different voices and different sort of things explored in them. I think, and I feel from social media, it was a really popular one. Wings was such a standout for me. I mean, you put Miriam Margolyes in a film, it's going to be a standout no matter what. But for me, that was such a beautiful piece of filmmaking, and it took you on such a journey that maybe you didn't expect when you started either. And it was funny and touching and just everything you really want in a film.
Absolutely. And of course, this is the first year that we have been in partnership with Film 4. So all these films are going to be available for quite some time now, I believe, on the All 4 on-demand app. Now, we should probably talk a little bit about the winner, of course, which this year was Better, directed by Michael J. Fern. What did you think of the winning film?
I thought it was a really sort of moving piece of filmmaking, and one that drew you in at the beginning with not really knowing where it was going to go, which made for a short film quite the sort of emotional journey as well to get to the end, and a worthy winner for all of that, I think.
And the reception online has been very positive. They seem to have quite a big following. What would you say? Would you say there are any trends this year in terms of the British films? Was there any kind of themes that you felt were particularly striking or sort of stood out compared to like previous years of the Iris Prize?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it felt like just different interpretations of identity and LGBT plus identity and what that means, but in different ways from all the films. So if we think about Better as the winner there, the kind of idea of what that means, people's perceptions of different identities and all of that. But then looking at identity across age groups and generations and things really stood out as a theme from the films for me.
Absolutely. Now, I do believe you have a clip from the winning film. Let's take a look.
What are they like?
Who?
The doctors.
Oh, really lovely. Do you have any salt and vinegar?
I didn't know they did kids.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they do the assessment and whatnot. Actually, it's better if they're younger, because then you only need the one treatment. Thank God. Couldn't afford to keep going back. It's totally safe, babe. Don't even worry about it. They meet you and they explain everything.
Does it hurt?
Mm.
Fantastic. And as I mentioned, all 15 of the best British shortlisted films, including the winner, Better, are available on All4 right now for the next 12 months. And we'll hear more from Emily to talk in detail about the winner of the Iris Prize later in the show. But first, our cameras visited Martin and Francis on Saturday morning before the award show. They shared with us their favourite films and predictions of who would be walking away with the awards. Did they agree with the juries?
We're going to start off with introductions.
Okay, I'm Francis.
So introduce yourself.
Yes.
And then I'll introduce myself.
But we're just saying I'm Francis.
I'm Martin. We've been involved in Iris from the beginning.
Yeah.
We've hosted directors, artists, actors.
I don't think we want to too much of it.
Well, they can cut it out. The red light's on.
Hi, welcome to the Canton Iris Prize Jury 2020. My name's Francis.
And I'm Martin. We've been involved with Iris right from the beginning. We've hosted directors, actors, occasionally a jury member, so we get an inside track on the jury deliberations, although of course we've got to keep that very secret until the announcements.
I think my overall, if I had to pick a winner, and I'd sometimes get it right, sometimes I don't, but I would choose The Cipher by Latia Solomon, American director. I think it's an incredible film. I think it looks amazing. It's full of tension because it's about a rap battle between two protagonists. So the film's full of tension because one of the competitors is gay, but not openly gay, and one of his friends finds out. And I won't say much more, but it's about how his secret is revealed and the responses of both the people taking part and himself as well. So I thought it was an incredible film. And in the first year of Iris, Dee Rees made Pariah, and she went on to has had an incredible career. She's been at films on Netflix, up for Oscars, all sorts. I think in the years to come we'll look back and say, Latia Solomon, we saw her first at Iris. So I think that's an incredible film. So I hope she does very well in her future career.
I'm going to pick out two short films, one British, one international, which are both about, in a sense, people looking back over their lives. So I'm at that stage really where I look back over my life. I've been quite fortunate as a gay person, but the first film, Wings, which is a British short, is about two women who fall in love they're part of the Land Army in the Second World War. A very dramatic change in their circumstances which allows that to happen. But then the rest of life intercedes, and then it's in a care home where they meet again. Miriam Margolyes plays one of the characters superbly, and they remember their love and they live happily ever after in the care home. The second one treats the same sort of idea of looking back over a life, but it's a documentary, and that's the international short Orville and Bob. Features two people from very different ethnic backgrounds. One is Jewish, one is black, but they've built a very successful life together. And so the documentary goes into that life in detail of how they related to their families early on, about the life they created, the travels, their interests, the way they were able to share their different backgrounds and different interests. So really a full and rich life.
Okay, so all we can say is watch those films. They're available for quite a few weeks online, and they're all amazing. So we've had a great year, because normally we don't get to see the films, at least I don't, because I'm busy working on the at the festival. So it's been excellent. So thank you, Iris.
Time for our final check-in with social media to see what our fans and friends have been saying online, and Holly's back to do the honours. Holly, good to see you.
Hello, I can't believe it's our last night together.
Don't bring it up, because I'm kind of upset about this. And, you know, it's been 48 hours since we last spoke, and a lot has happened since then.
Yes, there's been a huge amount going on. Obviously, the big news is that we now have the winners of Iris 2020, and a lot of people at home definitely agreed with our juries. So Wings, which won the Youth Jury Award, was a popular choice. There was a lot of love out there for Miriam Margolyes, who starred in it. Samo also loved Wings and reminded us that you can catch the 15 Best British Short nominees on all 4 for a whole year, thanks to our partnership with Film 4. And CG agreed with Short Calf Muscle being awarded the Iris Prize, calling it a possibly perfect film. That is a ringing endorsement, and that call yesterday was quite interesting. She was generally so shocked. It was, yeah, definitely a shock. Yeah. So now, the filmmakers obviously have not been here with us this time. They've not been in the audience for the awards. That hasn't stopped them engaging with us, No,
though.
not at all. It was quite fun, actually, watching them in real time find out and respond to us on social media. So Nicola Wong, who directed The Passing, she was very happy to share the honour of being highly commended Best British Film, along with Wings. And Leandro, who won Best Performance in a Male Role, gave us some great emojis to celebrate his win. Lena, who won Best Performance in a Female Role, was deeply happy to have been awarded the prize. And Michael, who directed the Best British Short, Better, was honoured to have won and thanked his entire cast and crew.
Fantastic, all worthy winners. Now, of course, not everyone can win an award at Iris, but it doesn't mean to say they're any worse off. They're fantastic films, all of them. They're all very worthy of being in the festival.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the ones that didn't win but have still had an impact, people are talking about online. So Robert said that The Prince was his favourite film of 2020. Debs loved Paint the Dragon's Eyes. Daisy shouted out Between the Seasons, which she really enjoyed, as did Georgina, who added that everything she'd watched had been high quality. And Gitto is hoping that Break-In will be turned into a series.
A series?
Yeah, I think that would be fun. I really enjoyed that one.
Man series, that sounds good.
Yeah, and remember, you can continue to vote for your favourite film to win the Co-op Audience Award right through the Iris On Demand period up until the end of October.
Fantastic. Now, we're almost at the end of our free week of Iris, and it's been a different one, but I think the general perception's been it's been a good week.
Absolutely. Matthew said that he couldn't recommend Iris enough. Trevor said it was brilliant that we made the festival available online during Cardiff's lockdown, and he was enjoying it so much. And Nathan and Wayne, who are longtime friends of Iris, acknowledged that this year was different but just as amazing, which I completely agree with.
Yeah, I think we all do. Thank you guys for saying that. And Holly, it's been an absolute pleasure to do this every night with you. So maybe we can do it again next year?
Oh, I think that might be a good idea.
I hope so. Thank you so much, though. It's been great to see you.
Thanks, Tom.
I think we're going to have a quick break now, so stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
You should visit your old home.
You look like your picture, thank God.
My mother passed about a year ago now.
Did your parents ever come back to Vietnam?
Never.
Where will you scatter the ashes?
We're returning them home. I hardly recognize this country anymore.
My
Why has it been so long for you to return?
Welcome back to the final part of Iris Live. Emily is back with me to talk about the Iris Prize itself. Now, 35 short films competing for the Iris Prize this year. General consensus and any particular highlights for you?
Again, as ever, a really strong group of films from all over the world, and it's so great to see what different countries come up with and different filmmakers come up with. For me, Victoria was a real standout, a really stunningly beautiful film and a lovely exploration of relationship. As well as along that line, The Boys was also a really lovely sort of exploration of one family in the world and an insight into that. So those two for me really stood out.
Fantastic. And just while we're on the subject about the festival in general, we've talked about it a lot this week on Iris Live, about the changes that we've had to do for the festival to make sure it happens. What's been your perception about those changes, about going online and streaming the films? How has that been for you?
I think it's been a really positive thing out of what has been obviously a really negative year overall, because I feel like I saw more of the festival in some ways because I could dip in and out. Sometimes that involved crying at my desk at lunchtime over a really beautiful film. Oh, no. But that was a really lovely thing to be able to do on a lunch break, and also just meant I made a bit more time if I didn't have to come into the room always, which was a good thing.
Good thing. Great stuff. So obviously let's talk about the winner. Short Calf Muscle, directed by Victoria War Madame. Views on the winning film?
Oh, such a brilliant piece of filmmaking. You don't expect, I think, when you go into it, the sort of dry humour that comes through, and particularly when you're watching it in a language that isn't your native tongue. I really genuinely laughed at it. I was really warmed by the characters, and it was so surreal yet so real and heartwarming at the same time. It was a great mix.
Fantastic. Well, Emily, it's been great to talk with you. Thank you so much for your opinions on the films, and hopefully you can join us again next year and do the same.
Look forward to it.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
I do believe now we're shortly going to be going to Jolene and Friends, but before we do, let's get a reminder of that winning film.
Ik wil graag een heel volkoren en dan gesneden, alsjeblieft.
Weet je het zeker? Zullen we er niet een halfje van maken, kleine vriend?
Heeft u geen hele meer?
Jawel.
Nou, dan die graag.
Ja, moet je zelf weten natuurlijk. Verder nog iets? Misschien een zakje met van die hele leuke kleine mini-krentenbolletjes?
Nee, dankjewel. Nee? Ja.
Zo.
Gorgeous people of the internet, welcome to our final night, the most glamorous part of Iris Live. Yes, Matthew and Friends, everybody.
We decided on Jolene and
Do you know
Friends.
what? I'm in such a good mood tonight. We're going to give it to you. It's Matthew and Friends.
No, I can't, honestly. I just think you've been beautiful all week, so it's got to be Jolene and Friends.
Can we talk a bit biased? Can we just say, we've had a lot of good comments about this section of the show, haven't we?
I know.
We've got to say hello to Bernie watching at home. She's very excited to watch the last one.
Hi,
Not
Ben.
as excited as I am, because I know tonight, guys,
oh my God,
we have the most special guest
I know,
joining us.
I know we've had brilliant guests all week.
We really have,
but
thank you.
This guest is like really, really special. Where have they flown in from, Jolene?
Well, do the honours, please. Honestly, I can't wait for this.
No, where have they flown in from, Jolene? That's
Yeah,
what...
bring them on, Matt.
You have booked them, haven't you?
Are we still live? Please don't do
No,
this now,
don't.
Matthew.
I know it's the last night,
You're joking,
Joe, but it's
aren't
like
you?
not funny.
Guys, he's like this.
Can we
in the
bring on the
dressing room.
guest, please?
Sorry, man, please, not today.
No,
don't do
I'm
this
not.
now.
No, don't do this to
Right,
me,
I
Joe.
can't, guys, I can't. Please, is it hot
Are
in
you
here?
actually serious?
Can I get some? Can we get water to set, please?
Chris, is she serious?
Matthew, I've got the fucking One Show watching tonight. Please don't do this tonight.
Where's our guest, Joe?
Oh, guys, I can't do this. Honestly, can I get the director, please? The director.
Yeah, 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 ooh, yeah, yeah. Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Hello, my name's Kaid, but you may know me as Kaid or Kayed, or I'm sorry, sir, your card's been declined. Welcome to my home. Should we take a quick look around? Come on. Well, that was fun. Welcome to the first Iris Prize podcast, where we will be getting a behind-the-scenes chat with some of the submissions that have been made for the Best of British Short. Please, please, please don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you there very soon. Bye.
The Iris Prize podcast celebrating the shortlisted Best British Filmmakers are all available now from your favourite podcast stores. Now we close tonight with the Iris blogger, writer, film lover and a friend of Iris, David Llewellyn, will read to us for one last time from his daily Iris blog.
Thanks, Tom. Many of the earliest movies were comedies and the earliest movie stars comedians. So it's kind of weird that comedy is often overlooked when it comes to prizes and awards. For instance, in the 21st century, the closest thing to a comedy to win the Academy Award for Best Picture is Parasite. And even Iris has a history of rewarding hard-hitting dramas and heartbreaking tragedies more often than anything that might make us giggle or laugh. Perhaps that's why I was delighted and surprised to learn that this year's Iris Prize winner is Short Calf Muscle, a strange, unsettling comedy from the Netherlands about a gay man who experiences what can only be described as nomophobia. Its story of sudden alienation and feeling out of step with the rest of the world is surely something that will resonate not only with an LGBTQ audience, but anyone alive in the year 2020. It featured in a programme of other mischievously funny films, many of which made me laugh out loud. And if I had one regret, it was just that I couldn't hear others laughing along with me. There's nothing quite like those moments that make everyone in the cinema laugh or scream or gasp at the same time. I've been impressed this year by the invention and creativity on display. Even in the more light-hearted films, there's a confidence and a sense of experimentation. Filmmakers taking risks and subverting some of the tropes of queer storytelling. There are some challenging times ahead for all artists, especially those working and living in the margins. Too many of those in positions of power are more concerned with waging a culture war than supporting and creating culture in the here and now. But if what we've seen in the last few days is anything to go by, queer cinema and the Iris Prize are very much here to stay.
Thank you, David. And that is it from Iris Live for 2020. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that all the films are available on our catch-up service until the end of the month. But from Holly, Jolene, David, Matt, and myself, Tom Selway, thank you so much for watching. Don't party too hard. Bye-bye.